Everybody, welcome back to Position Zero Chess. In today's video, I will be starting a new series where I will be playing against the creator bots on chess.com. So today's bot we're starting off with Mr. Beast. It wasn't too hard. This was the game that happened. I'll go over with you what happened. So I had a 76 accuracy rating, which isn't the best, but it's not terrible. So opening started normal. We did a queen's pawn opening. Opening up was d4. He responded f6 and fianchettoed his bishop, and I followed suit. After this, I developed my knight. He castled and I developed my knight. He developed his knight, and then I put my bishop into a future position where it could be useful. He pushes his pawn here. I'm not exactly sure. So in this position, I went e4. In my mind, I was just trying to take general central space. And after that, he played pawn to b6 with maybe fianchettoing both sides. I'm not sure. I castled my king, and he brought out his bishop. So there's few mistakes here and there, but like this is a normal game for playing with the bot. And then I develop my rook. That's the goal, setting up something in the future. He pushes his pawn, which I respond by taking with the pawn. He takes with the pawn here, and I push this pawn, which was just kind of a bad move in a way, but my idea was to just create like a pawn layer of like protection type thing. He developed his rook, and here I take, which isn't a bad move, but instead I offer a queen trade. I know there's a better move in this position, but that's what I did. He takes, and I take with the knight, which I should have taken with the rook, because my knight was defending this pawn. Taking with the rook would be better, because this pawn would still be defended, and he couldn't take it. But Mr. Beast didn't notice that. He only developed his rook, so I just put my pawn back instead of trying to take advantage with potential stuff going on here. He pushes his pawn, which I think it's bad, but I'm not 100% sure. I take the knight, he takes the bishop, and then I take the central pawn here. He takes my central pawn, which is a blunder, because now I have check and takes. And even if he moves here and takes, I will be up a piece. I take the bishop, he moves there, I take the knight, he takes my knight, and I am up a whole knight in material. So after this, I get my rook out, he pushes a pawn, I push my pawn, I'm instigating, he takes, and then we get into an endgame where he's down 2 points of material. I made a foolish trade here, sacking this. So he had takes, I had takes, and bishop takes, so he gains a pawn. I didn't fully think about the entire trade, but I was up 2 pieces. I do a fork, nice little fork here, so I either win the pawn or the bishop. He just ignores the threat completely. I don't think anybody could have predicted h5. I take the bishop. He moves the king to try to attack my knight. I check the king, and king moves back, and this move might have been like the worst possible move in this position. There might not have been a worse move anywhere. You could have moved the king, would have been better than this. There was already a fork, like it was a bad move. He moves the king back up here. I win the rook, and we're in the end game where I'm just completely up in material. He pushes pawns. I just start eating all of his pawns. He eats my pawn here, and we start trading the last amount of pawns, which he should usually be conserving, considering how much material he's down. I check the king. He takes the pawn. I start my journey of the a pawn to promote it into a queen. He moves his king back to g5. I move my king to h2. He moves his king back to a4. And I just push my pawn. I'm not sure what he's trying to achieve in this current position. It seems like he's just aimlessly moving his king around for no exact reason, because all of these are defending each other. But it's interesting. I push my pawn, move my rook out of the way. All of a sudden, Mr. Beast wakes up and realizes I'm about to have a queen. And then he goes here for some reason. I'm not sure if that was good at all. I get my queen. I move my knight out of the way. And in this position, it's completely over for Mr. Beast. He's just doing a last attempt at pushing a pawn. His king can't really get close. He could have. It's over. I get my rook out. He moves his king. I take the pawn. And then from this position, he decides to go h3. Which I could have easily have took, but I was really focused on trying to checkmate. So I completely ignored it and went knight to c5, which I don't know if that was good. But I was going to go for a simple ladder mate, which I did follow up with. Obviously, his pawn's on h3. So after bishop takes, king takes, I move my rook out to safety. He moves king to h7. And then we follow up with knight to e4. Get my rook and queen are connected. And they can now cause a ladder mate. He goes king to h6. I bring my bishop to b5, and the ladder mate continues. So the first battle of a 400 elo versus content creators, the 400 elo has won. I hope you guys enjoyed this game analysis, I guess. And yeah, have a good day. Thank you for watching.